Well, many children are growing up in single-parent households. According to the Human Sciences Research Council and the South African Institute of Race Relations, 60% of South Africa's children have absent fathers. More than 40% of South African mothers are single parents. Clinical psychologist Charity Mkhone joining me now via Skype to look at the impact this does have on children. Charity, hello to you. Thank you for your time. Without getting into the granular of the numbers, I'd like to hear about the effect this has on small children when being raised by a single parent.
Hi, thank you for having me. I think it is quite heart-wrenching to know about the statistics and look at them, because the role that a father plays in a family, particularly to male children or boys, is quite a significant role. And I think that the history of South Africa and the history of our past has made it very difficult, given the apartheid past and everything that has happened, for men to have generations of being fathered and knowing how to father. So I think that the picture does look quite bleak in terms of the statistics as they stand, and the report from the State of South African Fathers report that was published by the Human Science Research Council. But I do think that what's important is for us to think about other ways in which we can substitute for some of the biological fathers who seem to be absent or who are absent in their children's lives, because indeed fathers do play a very critical role in the development of their children.
They really do, Charity, particularly off the scourge, I'm sure you're very aware, of gender-based violence here in South Africa. We've had a march this morning. We had many people protesting about this, many men protesting about the behavior of other men in this country. We spoke to Craig Wilkinson from Father a Nation. He was saying the importance of a father figure, a male figure in the life of a young boy. If that is absent, it can, not always, but it can lead to issues. Can you help me understand why? What is it that is lacking when a young boy doesn't have a father figure? What happens in their journey that could end up getting them into trouble and hurting other people?
I mean, there's a myriad of things, and we would need this whole show to mention all of them. But I think the first one to start off with is the very unfair burden that is placed on a single mother who has the burden of raising children on their own. That it's hard enough raising children, but that if a mother has to do it on their own, particularly with boys, with boy children, it becomes quite difficult for them to be able to have that whole burden of raising them, mentoring them, and also being an example, a role model. And I think something else that's quite important, it's the role modeling part, where you will know how to be or how to act in society as a man if you have had positive male role models around you. And this becomes very difficult in communities, particularly where there's a scourge of absent fathers, where boy children seldom have male figures to look up to and know how to be when they themselves are partners, they themselves are fathers in the future. So it is about the role modeling and also assisting the parent or the caregiver or the mother, in most cases, who's left alone with these children.
There was a debate about a year ago or so where it's not just the role modeling on young boys and young men from a father figure. It's also very true, or perhaps I'm asking you if it's very true, the role modeling for a young girl and a young woman having a positive male role model is also showing them what is acceptable and what isn't, and what a man should actually be.
Absolutely. I think it is so under-researched and not looked at often enough in this country, particularly because of the violence against women and because of men being the ones who mostly perpetrate this violence against women. I think that there has been studies and readings that have shown that a father's presence in a daughter's life helps with things like self-esteem, self-confidence, and believe it or not, the ability to do well in school. So they doing well in school, especially for heterosexual daughters and heteronormative daughters being in relationships with other men, take a lot from what is modeled from their fathers and how their fathers were with their respective partners or their mothers. So I think that it's not about gendered experience or fathering is not about a gendered experience for the same gendered child, but just the whole notion of fathering and the importance of a father is very critical and key. And I think that we've zoomed in on the impact on males and on boys because of the violence in this country, and how it's mainly perpetrated by males. So that's why this has been something that's been an area of focus in South Africa. And I do think that has really caused us to ignore the very pivotal part that fathers do play for daughters as well.
It really does. Clinical psychologist Charity Mkhone. Thank you, Charity. Always a pleasure speaking to you here on ENCA.